Hello and welcome to Critical Idiots.
We review Tenet by host.
Should we talk about, like,
we
without
need to get-
spoilers, how complicated the movie was? Or was it more convoluted? Because it's like, it goes into, I guess, like, time travel and physics.
We all sort of felt this film was quite muddy, I believe, or at least very convoluted.
Yeah, I would definitely agree
Yeah.
with convoluted.
And I think that there are a lot of times with the first act that I didn't really understand what was going on a lot of the time. And because I didn't really learn anything in the beginning, or couldn't really keep up in the same way, but it didn't make it more difficult for me to enjoy the ending. So I felt like they definitely could have chopped off time from the first act.
The problem without getting into spoilers with the first act is that I didn't know why scenes became, like, why the next scene would come about. Like, you'd be talking to people and it's like, I don't know why he's talking to this person now. Yeah, I thought it was just I thought the whole thing was gonna be like a little heist thing and then it was gonna go on to another story. Like, I thought that's like, oh, that's why it's 200 minutes, because it's like a lot of different subplots and things. It's like, oh no, we're staying here.
It's just MacGuffin Central.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said that, after we saw this, we walked out and we're talking, and you said that the glue for the scenes wasn't very strong. That, really just finding yourself between... You sort of got what was going on in each scene, but you didn't know why it was happening.
Yeah, it's like, this is happening now this is happening, now this is happening, and then all of a sudden at the end of the first act, it's like, okay, there's a story now?
Yeah.
I kind of at some point kind of figured it was on me. I was like, oh, I must have missed something.
Yeah, I
but
was
to hear that
thinking
all
that.
you guys felt similar, I do believe it's totally on them. Let's be a bit more positive for a second. I think the set pieces in this, when they when they came, totally enthralled me. I was like glued to the screen. I loved what I was watching, and I was saying this to Brody that. It's really refreshing watching a Christopher Nolan film, knowing that a lot of what you're seeing is in camera and practical, which maybe a lot of people don't care about. I don't know, but I do.
The shots looked really nice.
I thought there would be a hallway scene. This film doesn't really have... No. This film doesn't really have that iconic scene in my mind. Like, a lot come close. I'm like, that was amazing. But it's not like, the scene I'm talking about from that movie.
Yeah. It's got some potentially iconic scenes that I don't think will end up being iconic, but just where there's like action going forwards and action going backwards without getting to spoilers, and it's like kind of really cool.
I would love to talk to the choreographer of the fight scenes, fight choreographer, and some of the stunt people, because it's so fascinating with, without saying anything about what the scenes involve. There's one fight scene in particular that I can just imagine would have to be planned to the T.
Yeah, it couldn't be like a normal fight scene
No.
because doing it backwards would look so different.
Yeah.
So
Would
they have to have certain movements.
Totally.
Would they have to start the choreography in the middle of the scene and then work like the
That's what I
sides
mean.
out?
Yeah, exactly.
Really, really interesting action sequences, I thought.
Yeah.
And I don't want to understate that.
Yes, I felt like all the characters didn't really have any memorable qualities to them. I wouldn't, there's nothing specific about them besides for maybe Robert Pattinson being suave and dashing. That's the only thing I can remember.
I think the word for me for all the characters is two-dimensional. They had a role in the film, and that was kind of it.
Yeah.
There was I won't even go into it, but every character in this is kind of a trope almost, and not much outside of that.
Yeah, I saw that especially with John David Washington, how he was very morally righteous, but it didn't seem like his character was presented like that before.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like one-liners that he like uses at moments that it's just like, if you don't laugh, you're not really with the character.
Yeah.
I thought that John David Washington had his moments. Overall, I thought he was a bit wooden, or the character was always sort of the same. But he had some moments where he'd just do some weird gestures, and he'd be like, okay, that's different. Like, one bit he's like trying to be, I don't know if he's trying to flirt with her, and he just like goes like... I was like, what? What kind of beat is that?
I wanted to talk about Kenneth Branagh and his year in general. Because I think this is the best thing he's done this year, but that's not saying much.
He wasn't that threatening either.
Yeah, it was just
It's really
him putting on a
tame.
fake Russian accent.
I thought it was great they cast a really tall actress. They don't ever do that in Hollywood.
Yes.
And there's a lot of tall girls that go to acting schools, and the acting teachers will actually tell them, you have no chance of being an actress, you should stop.
You're gonna be taller than the leading man.
Yeah, no one's going to hire you. So I thought it was great to see that. I thought it would personally, it's the most I've enjoyed a Christopher Nolan film since Inception.
Well, this is my first experience with a Christopher Nolan film, I think.
But it's like,
High
you
concept
need to bring it back to the
High
basics.
concept
though,
heist
sometimes.
films is what he's great at. And I was thinking
Yeah.
that during this film. I was watching it and I was like, Christopher Nolan is like, okay, heist, but it can be in their dreams. Oh, no, this time, backwards.
Yeah.
Usually Christopher Nolan, for somebody who is very makes very intellectual films, if you will, at times, he's able to put in some good amounts of humor to keep it, light, especially like Batman, and I'd say there's definitely moments like that in Inception, but it doesn't really, I feel he definitely tries to put in the humor in this, but it doesn't pay off.
For me, he's particularly great at set pieces, but I feel like he comes short when it comes to character development. And outside of, if you were a divorced single man, I'm sure he hits you in the feels.
If you've lost your wife, Christopher Nolan's coming at you.
Choking you up.
Yeah.
Like,
again
outside
and
of that,
again.
I don't know if he delivers for character.
To the very
I
end.
think that I'm so like down the middle. I have to rewatch it. Like
Yeah.
I really don't have a solid opinion on if I liked it or not.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't like completely understanding of the whole story.
I often find that when I come out of a movie and I'm like, I don't know, it wasn't bad. It might be great actually, but I just got to think about it some more. Usually I don't like it, and I'm just like lying to myself.
Yeah, you're trying to give it the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
no, it was better, right?
And then like the next day I'm like, kind of forgettable.
Yeah.
This-
I was gonna say, there's so many competent features about this film. Like, there are some really enjoyable, interesting, smart set pieces. The characters are flat, but I think the actors are really doing their best with the work, and obviously it looks incredible, but there just seems to be these small elements missing, that just the humanity. I think just a bit of the humanity in this, like, the chemistry between characters, or the humor on screen, or just, the audience being able to empathize with, the protagonists and everyone that you need to care about. I didn't think that was really delivered. Yet again, though, I really want to rewatch this film just so I can understand it better.
Yeah.
Maybe I will like it a lot more with subtitles and having, already seen it once.
We gotta go to like a sing-along session that has like a ball bouncing on the lyrics.
I hope they go get a version of that at Hamilton. Anyway,
The only thing about a rewatch is I wouldn't want to watch those action scenes again, to be
just
honest. Especially like towards the end, I just want to watch just like the.
I
just
thought the action scenes were the best parts of it.
I'm just not keen
Really?
on watching
Well, not
3 hours again.
not the ending.
Yeah,
but-
that's
but
what
the-
I mean mostly. Yeah, that ending would be rough to watch again.
What I really liked about this movie, one thing I really liked was how the idea of time, I've like heard before that, time's maybe not linear, but humans experience it as a linear thing because it's easy for us to comprehend it that way. This film did a good job of, putting the visual of time not being linear and making sense of that a bit better.
I went into this really thinking it'd be a bit more like Wanted, like a play on turning the bullet. And I thought that was a bit more interesting because it's more minimal. I didn't like that it was so grandeur. Like it was this big concept about time, and I thought it was going to stop at the bullets, but then it just got so much bigger than I think it needed to be.
I thought it was just going to be a fun take on a way to do an action scene in a
Yeah.
different way and play with time, but they didn't explore it that much.
Yeah, I was hoping for like an epic shootout, but it was totally all in reverse.
And it never really set the rules. Like, here's how it works. Like, this is what you can and can't do. We're not sure if it's at the cinema we saw it in, or if it's the mix of the film.
Yeah.
But the sound mixing is really, I'll use the word again, muddy. It was almost giving me like a headache by the end of the film.
Yeah, the bass is really distorted for some reason. Yeah, it could have been the cinema, it could have been Christopher Nolan. And you said before that Christopher Nolan likes to use, sort of a weird sort of sound mixing stuff. Was that you?
No, I was saying that Christopher Nolan got in trouble for this a few years ago when he released The Dark Knight Rises, and there was like a 5-minute preview in IMAX, screenings before the film came out, and everyone said that Bane's voice was really hard to distinguish. It was really muddy. No one could hear it, and so before the film came out, they did a remix of his vocals.
Right.
So this is a problem he's had before.
Just imagine this big trailer for the last installment in the Batman series, and then we reveal the bad guys like.
It's like a deep voiced Kenny from South Park. If I was going to rewatch this film, which I might, I don't know, but I definitely put subtitles on.
Yeah.
I can't wait to watch it with subtitles.
I know, right?
Yeah.
To me, this was a big disappointment, and not that I was expecting something game changing or anything like that. But I was feeling like maybe it could be an 8 or something, but I'm gonna have to say it's really not bad, and it's great fun, and unlike Unhinged, it really does justify going back to the cinema and getting a popcorn and a Coke and just sitting there for fucking 5 hours. And it's a really fun movie as an action film, and with subtitles, I bet it's really smart. Who knows? But I'm giving it a 6. I say check it out.
Okay. I went in. I don't know. I didn't have that high expectations. I thought it might not be that great. So I ended up having fun with it. I thought it was wild in terms of like I had no idea what was going on most of the time. But I sort of just went with it, and I kind of enjoyed it. I'd like to watch it again to really suss it out. I have a feeling it's convoluted though, and like a lot of the concepts are just being made more complicated than they really are. But then the third act really lost me a lot, which I'll get into in the second video. For now, tossing between a 6.5 and a 7. I'll go for a 7.
So I went into this hoping that I would have a, fun cinema experience coming back. Obviously, with Unhinged as being our last movie, I was, but I don't think I really enjoyed too many of the characters. I didn't find them too memorable, and I think the stakes got much too high for the story that was being presented. And I often find films like this, if there's stakes which are believable or I can relate to, it's easier for me to go along with the film and have the tension rise up in me. But I didn't find the stakes believable, so I wasn't really with the film. It's still a good film. Like it's fun to go to, and it's a decent experience at the cinema, but I'd give it a 6.
I quite enjoyed this film in some very strange levels, because at the same time there's not a lot I can remember about it, or there's a lot that was really disappointing for me, and I thought I was going to quite enjoy this. I'm not the biggest Christopher Nolan fan either, or at least his more later works, quite like his early stuff, especially because there is a bit more of that heart there. But yeah, I enjoyed the set pieces on the big screen. I would recommend probably seeing this on the big screen so you can experience it. Yet again, there's nothing else on, so why the hell not? Though, yeah, there's not a lot of payoff. I don't really understand what's happening, and I also a lot of the time didn't really care what was happening, even if I feel like did understand what was going on. The idea, what everyone's trying to, the reason for everyone's motivation doesn't really cross over for me either. But I still would like to rewatch this, and I'd still recommend it. So I think I'd go 7.
I'm feeling a little bit conflicted with this movie because half
Ain't
the time,
we all?
half the time I don't understand what it's on about. The other half, I'm just waiting for it to kind of get done. It is a long movie and it has a long runtime, and I don't feel I enjoyed it as much as you guys did. It was a bit of a letdown seeing my first Christopher Nolan film, and this is going to be a hot take, but I had more fun watching Unhinged than I did this movie.
I get that.
That being said, and this is trying to reverse it all, the overall composition of the film I found to be a million times better than Unhinged. Stylistically speaking, it is much better. The concept is bordering genius, if not convoluted, albeit convoluted. I can't really.
There might be some method to the madness.
Yes, that's a good way of saying it. There is definitely method to this madness, and I can see his sort of idea that comes about, but I don't feel that it fully pays off. So I think I might give it a 5.
Yeah, I just want to say that although this could be seen as a shallow, convoluted mess, it's great fun.
Yeah, I would say the reason I would give it a 7 is because I had a lot of fun with it. But also, like Daniel was saying, I thought that the composition and the directing was quite strong. I thought the screenplay was kind of weak.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem possibly is the sound mixing in the screenplay.
Actually, I just want to clarify for a start. Like, when I say I enjoy Unhinged more, I enjoy the ridiculousness of it all, which is definitely not what that film
Kind of
was trying
lends into it. Christopher Nolan is usually very tasteful, and he could have handed up a bit more here, or because like the idea is crazy, but maybe that's what he's good at. Is taking these kind of comic book ideas and putting them in a world that we know.
I feel like one of the reasons I give this more of a positive review, because I was swinging towards more of a 6.5 as well, but there was just so many times that I didn't understand what was happening, and usually when I see that in a film I just switch off and I don't care, but I really wanted to understand what was going on.
Absolutely, yeah. This movie,
And not just because I know I was going to be sitting here for another 2 hours,
but just because of the fact that it is a Christopher Nolan film, that there's some depth into it.
well, it just seems so interesting, and there really are these captivating moments that you're like, wait, so if this is happening right now, that means this other person had to go back and set this up before this other thing happens, and that's good to think about. It challenges you.
You can do so much with the concept.
Yeah.
And in a way, I feel like a couple of other people have done it really well.
Christopher Nolan did it with Memento.
I think of
I didn't see that.
Yeah, like check that out. That's
I will happily check that
I
out.
think
Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, all that jazz. And if you have what did you think of this film? Leave a comment down below. And if you want to see the spoilers, check out the next video. So we'll see you there. Take care, guys.